Well, I'm a little older from that game for sure. Heart's going crazy. I might need a blood pressure test here in a second. But what a result for us. These guys continue to dig down deep and surprise me every time. And in a game that I thought both teams had some chances there to get a result like that. At the end was fantastic.
John, what was said at halftime? It seemed like you guys had a lot more spark going out in the second half.
There was a lot said at halftime, but the main points are that we had to do a better job possessing the ball, and we had to do that in their half. I felt like we got away from our game in the first half. We started dumping far too many balls, playing much too direct, which is not the way we play, and it's not the way we train. Antoine and Jack were making good runs, but that took away from what we do well. They scored a great goal. I can't fault Zach on that at all. I don't know if you guys could tell, but that ball went left 5 yards, back right, and then dropped. And so it's just one of those that you hit, and it's unbelievable. So there's a reason knuckleballers are successful in pitching and baseball, because that one was sure moving all over the place. But for us, it was just basically that we had to do a better job. We had to dictate the rhythm a little bit. We had to go after it. We switched to a 3-5-2 coming out of the locker room, and I think that gave them some problems initially. It left us a little vulnerable for sure, but what can you do? You're down a goal at home, and that's unacceptable for us.
John, I think it's the first time this year the team's come back from a deficit to win a game.
Yep.
What does it say about these guys going forward?
Look, we're slowly chipping away, and again, we have another first in our season, and that's really important because to be at this point in the season and have not even come back to get a result, to do it in the fashion that we did and get a win and 3 points is huge. So I think you see the character of these players, and they continually come out. And even when I don't think we played great in the first half, and for them to come out and try to play with a lot of confidence in the second half, just looking at the number of passes that we strung together, 507, and in the first half we were only at 220. So that's our brand of soccer. We're going to push numbers forward. We're going to attack the whole time. So it's good.
John, do you let the guys on the field dictate who takes the penalty there, or was that Freddie just kind of saying, I want this?
Freddie was I wanted it, and Gavi looked over at me because Gavi's really good at those too, and I said, let Freddie take it. When a player's feeling it like that, it's you don't want to mess with that. So it was great for him to put that in the back of the net, and we have a number of guys who are good at him, but when a player steps up like that, we generally let him have it.
Does that help put behind him what happened the last time out?
I think the fact that he trained hard all week and he was really good, and that he played really well tonight, says a lot more for me than if he scores a goal or not. I think for him, yeah, it's great. We need Freddie to be important for our team if we're going to be successful. It's the bottom line. So, but yeah, between me, him, and between the players in the locker room, I don't think anything was residual from last week to this week at all.
What do you think was lacking tonight in terms of the first half? You had mentioned that obviously you weren't happy with it. What was missing?
I think for us, we tried to play a style of soccer that wasn't our own. And when you do that, little bits and pieces get wrong. And we dropped our midfield a little bit too much. We weren't in the holes that we are regularly in. We turned it over really easy, so we don't even have a good time to set up our shape, and then we're losing it. And one of our strengths is when we set up a really good attacking shape, we're in good position to defend immediately. And that, for me, was one of the biggest factors in the first half.
Can you talk about how well...
I'll come back to you. Go ahead.
All right. Can you talk about just how well Carlos played in the job he did defending, especially in the second half?
Yeah, we had some warriors back there, and Carlos is our leader. He's our captain, and for those guys to make some of the saves they made when the game opened up a little bit, to track back to the distance they did was huge. But Carlos is, that's what he does all year. That's why he was an all-star this year, so it was fantastic.
John, not only did you come back and win, but you did it against a team that was, before tonight, right ahead of you in the standings. How important is that, too, to win games like that against teams like that as you're trying to...
Yeah, it's everything. It's a 6-point swing. We still have, now we're tied for the least number of games played in the MLS, so we got a lot of games in hand. But we talked about it all week that we have to take care of business, especially when we're at home. And we're in such a hole that we have to climb out of it. So, these kind of games against somebody above you in the table, in particular when you can steal 3 from them and put it on your score sheet is important.
John, with those 4 consecutive league wins at home now, do you kind of feel like you're reestablishing, the feel that you have in your own stadium there?
I think so, and I think the fans are starting to believe it a little bit too, because you can tell. I mean, Philly fans, they're never easy, and so when we were down there in the second half, even I was hearing a lot of interesting shouts come my way. But you see them at the end when we score the second goal, and the place just goes ballistic. And that's what everybody wants to hear. That's what the players want to hear. That's emotion, that's passion, and that's fantastic. And we certainly have it here.
John, thoughts on Antoine as a starter tonight?
I thought he put in a great shift. I mean, for his first start, he draws a penalty there, worked hard all night. Didn't exactly execute some things that I think normally he would have, but for his first start to help us in the way he helped us, so important for him going forward. I look forward to hopefully having him do that again and again.
John, were you getting frustrated in the first half with the amount of long balls that were being played over the top? Where you guys have been most effective is playing balls into space and trying to find those passing lanes, like you said.
Yep.
Tonight, the first 30 minutes were just over the top. What did you tell these guys to be like?
No, I said, why are we doing that? At halftime we said, why are we doing this? Why are we playing these balls? And part of it was because, look, New England deserves a lot of credit for that because they packed, that midfield. There were 5 guys. There was not a lot of room to play through the midfield. We were impatient. We're down a goal, so now we're trying to force it back. We just got to trust the things that we do well and to continually to do that and grind it out. And we keep saying it. If we can do that, we'll wear teams down. We'll have more opportunities to win goals, late because of that. And certainly we went back to that in the second half.
How tough is it to defend against a team that can counter that quickly and decisively?
Look, as a coach, it drives you crazy because you know that you're vulnerable to it, and especially when we were bombing Shane forward and bombing Gabe forward. We have 2 guys in the back right now, and we know they're really good on the counter. So it's a big risk, but when you're down, you have to do it, and you have to cover. I thought Brian Carroll did a phenomenal job being a midfielder and a defender in that second half. Thank you, everyone.